Guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I wanted to talk about setbacks, but also give another dumbed down, just talk, a raw fitness talk with you guys about bulking, cutting, calories, just all the fun things, all the good things that nobody really wants to talk about, but we all need to learn, okay? And setbacks, I recently had a setback. You guys know that I was sick and I just wasn't going to the gym. I didn't eat for 3 days. It was crazy. So I wanted to talk about setbacks and how maybe you got sick or you went on vacation and you're like, oh my God, I never worked out once on my vacation. Like, how do I get back into it? Or maybe you're getting your boobs done and you're like, dude, I can't go to the gym for like 8 weeks. Like the doctor said, so I can't do anything about that. So I just wanted to talk about it. But first, as we talk about the setbacks, we're also going to talk about the bulking and cutting because I think it's such an important aspect of fitness. Oh my God, that sounded so boring. I'm not trying to be boring, you guys, but it is important. It's like you can gain weight, you can also lose weight. It really depends on what your goals are. If you're trying to build muscle, you can bulk, you can like lean bulk if you wanted to. But then also if you're cutting, so if you're wanting to lose weight or say you're going through like a body recomp, the thing is everyone is so different with their calories and it's important for you to figure out what are my calories for my goals because depending on what your calories are for your goals, it's going to be so different on what you're eating to the next person. So even though I like to post what I eat in a day content, I still like to just remind you guys that it's going to be so fucking different for everyone. Even like when I change my goals, I will completely change what I'm eating. Well, not completely, but I'll like take stuff out or I'll add stuff or whatever. So let's get into it. Let's talk about bulking first. So when you're bulking, you're starting like, we're going to say you're starting up here. This is you. Okay, wait, are we bulking or cutting? I said bulking, right? You're starting down here. So if you're bulking, say you're trying to gain weight, the ultimate goal is to get up here. So you're trying to gain, I don't know, say you want to gain like 20 pounds and you're like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm going to the gym for. Bulking, usually you're going to do, especially if you're trying to like build muscle, you're going to do anywhere from like 6 to 8 reps, probably sometimes 10. I like to think that the higher reps is more like a cutting program. So if you're doing like 8 to 12 reps, that's usually some sort of cutting. But then when you're going down, so if you're doing like 6 to 8 reps, that's usually bulking. That's when you're like, yo, I'm eating so much food. I am like thriving in the gym. I'm just trying to grow my muscles. And so you're starting down here. You're like, I want to gain 20 pounds. So as you start eating more food, say you're adding things into your diet. So good things to eat when you're bulking is things like nuts. Nuts are super high fat, and they have some protein, but mostly fat. So things like nuts, maybe you're eating like a bunch of bagels instead of bread, or you're eating, I don't know, maybe you're slamming a pizza or something. Whatever you're eating, basically it's gonna help you gain weight, right? But then all of a sudden, you're me. And almost every time I've bulked, I've gotten sick. It's so crazy. And it's not even just that I get sick, I get like sick. So the last time I bulked, like the very first time I bulked, I didn't eat for 3 days, 2 days, something like that. I got COVID and I didn't eat. And I was like, what is happening? So all of a sudden, I'm going back down because that's essentially a setback. Like it took me probably a couple weeks to get up to the same weight that I was using in the gym. It took me a while to just overall recover from having COVID. And then this last time that I was bulking, well, I was kind of bulking. I didn't really have a goal, but I was eating a lot of food, okay? And I was lifting heavy. And I literally got sick again and I didn't eat for 3 days. And I was like, what is happening? Maybe I shouldn't bulk. So then we went down. For weeks, were trying to recover. I'm finally back to what I was doing before. But that took like up to 3 weeks. So for these 3 weeks, I was just not eating enough. I was really stressed also. So I was just going back down. But the thing is, okay, here's the thing. So my foot is falling asleep. So I could have just stayed down here and I could have kept going down if I wanted to and been like, making up excuses and being like, oh my God, this is never going to work. I already fell off the wagon. I'm just going to keep staying off the wagon and just, eating not so good food. But I was like, no, we're still going to do this. So as soon as I got better, I was like, now's my chance. Now's my chance to eat a bunch of food. Like, ultimately, this is where I want to be. I want to be 20 pounds heavier. So of course I'm going to keep eating food because that's my ultimate goal. So a big thing when you're, say you got sick and you were trying to bulk and you completely fell off for weeks, the best thing to do is to remind yourself of your goals and why you're doing it. So my goal down here when I first started was, I'm trying to think back to my very first bulk. I honestly think I just really wanted to challenge myself and be like, I think I was only aiming for like 10 pounds heavier or something. And I was like, I want to bulk. Like I saw within the first couple weeks, within these weeks, I saw such good progress. I was lifting heavy. I was lifting way heavier than I ever was. It was a great time actually. Now that I think about it, bulking is great. But yeah, I was lifting heavier. I felt better. I felt kind of just like I was eating a bunch of food, but I was almost there. Like I could feel it. I could see my progress going up. So for me to go back down, I was like, no, I'm not letting that happen. Like this is my ultimate goal. I'm getting there. So I went back up. I was like, I'm going to eat. This is what I'm doing. But if you ever question, or if you're ever like, oh my God, I don't know how to get back on the wagon, literally remind yourself what you're actually doing it for. Whether you're doing it for, it could be literally anything. Like maybe for a while when you were younger, you were bullied for being skinny or something. Like I know when my dad was growing up, the reason that he got into bodybuilding and stuff was he grew up quite little and skinny, and he was like, this is what I want. Like, I'm tired of being bullied. Like, it just, so remind yourself of your goal. But then you're going to have something else happen because life is fucking life. I know the girls in the group chat on the app will be like, bitch, I know. Because every time we're in the app, someone's like, oh, dude, I got my period and I didn't go to the gym for a week and now I'm struggling to get back on the wagon. Or I don't know, people go through divorces. All of a sudden you went through a divorce and you've been MIA for like 2 or 3 weeks and you're like, holy shit, I haven't been to the gym because I've been so busy dealing with this fucking divorce that I have to deal with now. And so you haven't gone in weeks. And so you're falling off, and you are falling off hard. Like you are like, I haven't eaten well. I haven't even trained. I haven't even thought about the gym for like weeks. The same shit, you guys. Like, you're like, I went through this divorce and yes, I haven't been to the gym in weeks. I haven't eaten very well, but we still have a goal. Like we're still trying to get that 20 pounds. Just because life took over for a couple minutes doesn't mean that your goals and just your health in general doesn't matter. So you're going to start eating again, and you're going to start eating nuts, and you're going to start eating bagels and probably some popcorn at night, because why the fuck not? You're trying to gain weight. And other things that are smoothies. Smoothies are bomb if you want to gain some weight because you can just throw a bunch of shit in them and it's like liquid calories, okay? So you start having smoothies again. Cool. Look at how high you are, literally. If you know, you know. And then all of a sudden your dog dies. And you're like, oh my God, really? I was so close. And now I'm going to fall off again because now I've got to have a funeral for my dog and I've got to mourn my dog and I've got to grieve him or her. And life fucking happens, you know? That's what's going to happen. But that doesn't mean that maybe this time, because you've grown so much and you've gotten more consistency at the gym, and, you know, instead of going 3 days a week, you're now going 5 days a week. This doesn't hit as hard. And you're like, yeah, but I still have priorities and I still have goals. Not saying that you shouldn't mourn your dog or grieve your dog, because I think you should, and I would for weeks. But maybe the gym is now your happy place, and the gym is now your therapy, and the gym is where you go to release those emotions and almost forget about what's happening and forget about what's happening in the world. So that doesn't hit you as hard. It doesn't hit you for weeks because you've still been in the gym and you've still, maybe you didn't eat for a couple days because obviously stress and hormones and you're sad and shit happens. But then all of a sudden you're like, holy shit, I'm back. We're back in the wagon, you guys, going up. And eventually you're going to reach that goal. It might get really fucking rocky and you might reach it like this, but eventually you're going to get there. If you have that goal in mind and that's what you want to do, the 20 pounds will just show up one day. No, you actually have to fucking work on it, but you'll get there. And if you're doing the right things and you're eating really well and you're eating a lot of food, you're going to gain weight. It's just consistency, and it's about, you know, yeah. Let's talk about cutting. How do I erase this? I'm going to flip it. Cool. Okay, let's talk about cutting, because this is like the best part of the year is cutting. Well, is it? I don't know if I agree with that. Okay. So for cutting, we're going to start up here. So this is you. You're just chilling. Chilling up here, but you're like, I really want to lose some weight. And let me just write cutting. Okay, so this is for all my weight loss girls. I'm not going to like glorify weight loss, because there's a lot of people that want to lose weight and there's a lot of people that want to gain weight. I think it's important that we talk about both, because there's so many girls that get forgotten about when you talk about losing weight. Because it's like, there's so many girls that actually want to gain. I didn't realize I wanted to gain weight until I got into fitness. And then I was like, whoa, I would rather be way stronger than skinnier. So anyways, we are now talking about weight loss. So first, I want to give you one of the best tips for weight loss. And oh my God, I'm actually going to base it. If you guys have me on Snapchat, I talked about, there's a woman in my gym. Should I talk about this? Probably not. But I share everything with you guys, so we're talking about it anyway. So there's a girl in my gym, and I don't know who she is, if I'm being honest, but I've seen it so many times, and I've seen it so much in public gyms. I've seen it in like every single gym. And basically, she will run from equipment to equipment. And I just want you guys to visualize this. I want you to get this in your head, because I want you guys to understand what actually works for weight loss and what doesn't work for weight loss. And it sucks, because I feel like so many fitness influencers share this, and I feel like girls just actually don't believe it and they don't trust the process. So first of all, I'm going to tell you to trust the process. When I make my challenges and I make my programs, I expect you guys to rest between your sets. Like, if I have girls on the app that aren't resting between sets, please rest if you're listening to this, because your body needs it. So when you're going through a workout And say you're doing like squats, hip thrusts, RDLs, whatever you're doing, I don't care. Your compound exercises, let's start with hip thrusts because we all love hip thrusts. So when you're doing them, you should be pushing as much weight as you can while still feeling the muscle you're trying to work. So if you're doing hip thrust and you have one plate and you're pushing and you're like, this is fucking easy. Like I'm feeling my glutes are still fired up. They should still be fired up. But you're like, I could definitely push more. And you put another plate on. And that's when you're like, holy shit, like the last couple reps within your rep range. So say you're doing, for cutting, it's around 8 to 12-ish. Or like 10 to 12, 8 to 10, that kind of vibe, anywhere within there. And you're like, okay, this is a lot of weight. Like by the time I get to 10 reps, I am done. Like I cannot push another rep. After that, you should not be doing banded squats or whatever the fuck you want to do, abs, I don't care. Don't do it because you want to push that weight. And so you've just done a set of hip thrusts, you've done 2 plates, you pushed as much as you could, and you did 10 reps. You need to give your glutes a second because it'll take, I think it's like 30 seconds or something for your muscles to like relax and like be over it. But the longer you give yourself, up to like 5 minutes or something, the more you can push with the next set. And the more your muscles are rested for the next set, which is what you want because how you build muscle is progressive overload, increasing the weight, really pushing yourself. If you're doing a set of heavy hip thrusts and then all of a sudden you're doing abs or banded squats or whatever the fuck you're doing between that, and then you go into another set of hip thrusts, you're gonna be like, fuck, I can only do 1 plate, which is gonna set you back. So if you're trying to grow muscle, I just want you to know you should not be making your sessions a cardio session because that's just not the vibe. So don't run around and use all the machines at once. Stick to one thing, do your sets, and trust the fucking process. I feel like nobody trusts the process, but it's like if you're doing it and you're doing it however many times a week and you show up for yourself and you're doing, oh my God, Elise, this is so like fitness content. We love this for me. I hope you guys are learning something while I'm doing this. So, okay, you're cutting, you're wanting to lose weight. So you start eating in a calorie deficit. You start training, you get the Lifted app, you are doing our leg workout. Say you're doing the booty guide. What is it? I think it's the Booty Blaze guide or something. Booty Blaze program. I think that's what it's called. So you're doing this, you're going 5 times a week, you add in some cardio and you're eating really good. You're like, whoa, like I haven't eaten this much protein in forever. Life hack, if you want to lose weight, just eat more protein and more fiber. And all of a sudden you start losing weight. You're like, holy shit, that's so cool. By the way, your goal is down here. You want to lose 20 pounds. You're like, whoa, I just lost like 2 pounds. That's so fucking cool because I'm actually being consistent and I'm doing my shit. Amazing. And then all of a sudden you get in a relationship and all you guys eat is pizza. And you're like, oh my God, I'm gaining weight. Fuck, stop buying me pizza, dude. I don't know, I'm making this up in my head. So you've lost 2 pounds. You start eating pizza because your dumbass boyfriend just buys you pizza all the time. And you're like, I don't even want pizza. I want to be healthy, dude. So stop buying it. You get mad at him and you're like, no, this is it. This has been 3 weeks of eating pizza. I don't want to eat pizza. Make me a nice dinner. So he makes you dinner. He starts making you healthy dinners with salmon and chicken and tofu, and like it is bomb. This shit is so healthy. He's going to the gym with you. You guys are thriving, okay? And you lose like what, 10 pounds? No, 5 pounds. Let's be realistic, okay? You lose like 5 pounds. You're like, holy shit, this Lifted app is so cool because, you know, it sorts my workout for me. My boyfriend is awesome. He's making me these healthy meals. This is amazing. My life is so good. And then you get this bad strain of weed and you're literally sitting there like, you're giving me the munchies every fucking night. Now I'm eating chips and I just gained a bunch of weight again. Fuck. I need to switch my strain. So you switch strains because you're like, I could just keep smoking this strain and I could just keep eating chips and keep going back to exactly where I was. Or I could switch my strain, remember my goal, remember that I want to lose 20 pounds by the end of the year, and just buy some different weed. Oh my God, you started losing weight again. Like, it's about taking your excuses, random excuse, but take your excuse, be like, fuck you, excuse. I'm changing that and I'm not dealing with that because I have a goal and I actually want to reach that goal. Then all of a sudden you start hanging around the wrong group of friends and they're all making fun of you for your little fitness goal and they're making fun of your new boyfriend and they're like, why don't you just come out with us and drink and do all this stuff? So you go out, you drink, you're now eating burgers and, you know, eating pizza at 2 a.m. and ordering Domino's on your days off because you're like, fuck it, I can do what I want. And you kind of lose sight of your goal and you start gaining weight again. And then one day it hits you and you're like, remember when I lost all that weight? And remember when I was following a program? And remember when I had this awesome group of girls in the Lifted app that helped me? I want to do that again. And I want to reach my goal. And I want to get there. And then you do that. And holy shit, you literally reach your goal. Like, isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy how we can have all that shit happen and still get to where we want to go? End of... Yeah, so that's... Honestly, I also just wanted to say to you guys that with me being sick and me getting sick every time I bulked, and then me trying to bulk and cut and bulk and cut, I know I share the really good things on social media and I always share the like, oh my God, in 8 weeks I did this, or I always post myself on social media because it's my fucking job, okay? And I think we get to a point where we're like, oh my God, you know, this person, say you're watching someone on social media or you're watching someone's page and you're like, oh my God, this person just keeps reaching their goals and they're always on top of it and they're always this way. I just want you to know that we're not. And I don't know how many influencers have said this before or how many people online have said this, that like, we have setbacks just like you guys. Like, everyone has setbacks, no matter what they are. My setbacks are going to be different than the next person's setbacks. My issues and obstacles are going to be so different from the next person. So, for instance, girls in the group, all of their different things that come up, and we're so open. Like, thank you guys for being so open in the group, because I think it helps the other girls realize that there's always going to be shit. There's always going to be life stuff happening. Life happens no matter what. We always have life shit happening. No matter if you're cutting or you're bulking or you're in maintenance and you're just chilling. We'll talk about maintenance now. But you're always going to have shit happen. It doesn't matter who you are, what you're doing. It doesn't matter what kind of job you have. We are always going to have different obstacles and it's going to hit people so different. So some people might have, some people might get a new boyfriend and they don't buy them pizza, and that might not even be an obstacle for them. But then all of a sudden they get a new dog and they're super stressed, and the stress helps, like, the stress causes them to not lose weight, or the stress causes them to gain a bunch of weight, or the stress causes them to lose too much weight. So it's going to be so different in the way your body reacts, in the way just your life, you know, happens. But let's also talk about maintenance. So when you're in maintenance, let's make a graph. Why do I always misspell that? That's probably wrong. I did this on my last one. Why? I literally, if you guys go back to my bulking and cutting video from a while ago, I did the same shit. I actually tried to spell this like multiple times. It was so, I think that's right, but I'm not sure. So when you're in maintenance, you're here. You are like really chilling. Like sometimes you eat too much. Sometimes you eat too little. Sometimes you eat way too much. Sometimes you eat way too little. But ultimately, you're pretty much hugging this line most of the time. Because you're not trying to gain weight. You're not trying to lose weight. Maybe one day of the week you eat like 5,000 calories. Maybe one day of the week you eat like 500 calories. Like you're just chilling. That's a bit extreme, but you're literally just hanging out. And, you know, maybe you're training 3-5 times a week. Yeah. Maintenance is kind of just chilling. I feel like once you, for the girls that have been in the challenges for a while, and for the girls that are planning to be in the challenges for a while, or just on the app, or just in fitness in general, when you've gone through multiple different bulks or multiple different cuts, and you've kind of gotten this body that you're like, I'm happy with this. I don't want a fatter ass. I'm happy. I don't want, you know, bigger shoulders, or I don't want, you know, to lose any weight. I don't want to gain any weight. You can just kind of chill because your body is so used to the calories that you're eating. The body is so used to how much you're training that, like, unless you make some really big drastic changes, you're just gonna chill. You're just hanging out. Like, it's kind of a vibe and it's kind of nice. Oh, I also wanted to mention this. I actually forgot to mention this in the cutting program. So, or in the cutting thing. If you guys are cutting, I need to explain this to you. So, muscle, I don't know how many times you guys have probably heard this. Muscle burns more calories than fat. So if you have, let me draw it. I feel like I'm just spitting knowledge at you guys today. Honestly, like this video. Give me a comment. I'm just kidding. So what color am I going to use? This one. Okay. So you have muscle. And then you have fat. And say this is the amount of muscle and fat in your body. So you have like, you have like 10 fats and 3 muscles. Okay. So you start working out and you're now doing hip thrusts on the lifted programs, and you're also doing squats, and you're progressive overloading, and your body's like fucking loving it, okay? So all of a sudden, you just lost 2 fats and you gained 2 muscles. So they just moved over. They were like, I don't want to be fat anymore. I'm turning into muscle. So this is so funny. So now you've got 5 muscles and you've got 8 fats. And you keep training, you keep going. You're like, this is awesome. I've got big fucking biceps now. This is so cool. And you lose 2 more fats and you gain 2 more muscles. And your body's like, this is so fucking cool. I feel great. I feel like you're eating well. You're going to the gym. You're doing all your stuff. So now you have 6 fats and 7 muscle. You're going to find that your body, now that it is losing fat and gaining muscle, your metabolism is going to be able to like process food faster and stuff, and you're going to burn more calories just by existing. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to exist. You can lay on the couch all day, but because you did that shit and you grew that muscle, you could eat a bag of chips and, okay, well, maybe that's dramatic, but you could, and it's probably just going to turn into muscle and it's just going to chill. You're not going to gain any fat because you have done that. You've done the work. Like, you still have to eat healthy, obviously, to keep your muscle and keep training and keep being consistent. But it's a lot easier once you get there. It's a lot easier once you start building muscle. I think that's why people are trying to push this, like, strength train rather than do cardio, because doing cardio, yeah, you're going to lose your fat, but then it's all just going to come right back when you stop doing it or when you start eating a little bit more. This way, all the food you're eating is just turning into muscle. It's being processed so much faster. And yeah, maybe you keep training, you keep going. You're like, I'm doing another lifted challenge because why would I not do another lifted challenge? So you lose 2 more fats and it comes back as 2 more muscle. And you're like, holy shit. First of all, I've never eaten this much in my life, because you're probably eating a lot more than what you were before. And you're training more, you have more energy, you're just overall happier. That's you. So that's my little rant on muscle and fat. One other thing that I wanted to mention when you start getting into fitness is you're going to notice that, first of all, the progress photos are what you're going to live on, but also your calories and, wait, what was I going to say? Oh, body recomp, you guys. I've done a video on body recomp, but I just wanted to like reiterate what body recomp is. Body recomp is this: when you start losing fat and gaining muscle. The problem with this is when people get into fitness and right now, say you're 200 pounds and you want to get to 180. What happens when you get into the gym and your fat starts turning into muscle? You will not see the scale move sometimes. And that's scary because you're like, I've been training for 4 weeks. I should have lost this much weight, but I haven't. And you're not going to see the scale move. But that's because your fat right now is turning into muscle. That means muscle weighs more than fat, you guys. So you might even see the scale go up a little bit. But that doesn't mean that all your hard work isn't going to pay off. So just be patient. Trust the process. And turn your fat into muscle. That's why we're here. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. I loved using the whiteboard, teaching you guys some great knowledge. Okay, bye guys. Oh, my leg.